So long division of polynomials is pretty similar to how you do long division with just real numbers that you learn, in elementary school. There are a couple minor differences though, so let's see what a problem might look like where you have to do long division. And usually, in this case, the question is going to ask you to do long division. So let's say we had a quotient like the following. And we wanted to actually do this division. So what you'll notice is the top, or what you're dividing by, has a degree larger than the divisor, which is what you need to do long division, or at least they need to be the same. So what we're going to do is set up the long division bar just like you would have with numbers. But what's important to note that is if you're missing any term of any degree, you need to put it there as a placeholder. So if you notice in the numerator here, we don't have an x to the third term. So you need to write plus 0 x to the third when you're writing this out. We can write the rest of it then. And we're dividing by x minus 2. So now we can go through our steps. So just like with numbers, what you do is for each term, you want to say how many times could the first part of this go into it. So we're saying how many times could x minus 2 go into x to the fourth? Well, the answer to that then would be x cubed. And if you notice, I'm going to write that above the x cubed term that's there. Because if you multiply this back, you're going to get x to the fourth minus 2x cubed. And when you subtract, the x to the fourths are going to cancel out. We're left with positive 2x cubed. And we'll write the next term down to get ready. So we're going to continue moving on like this. How many times would x go into 2x cubed? That would be 2x squared. And when we multiply back through, 2x squared times negative 2 would be minus 4x squared. We subtract this whole thing. So the 2x cubes cancel out. And we're left here with 3x squared. That would be plus 4x squared, so we get 7x squared. Bring down the minus 10x. Continue here. How many times would x go into 7x squared? We get plus 7x. Multiplying back through, we get 7x squared minus 14x. The 7x squareds cancel. 10x, negative 10x plus 14x gives us 4x. And finally, we'll bring down the plus 1. So lastly, how many times would x go into 4x? Well, that would be just 4. And when we multiply it, I'm going to write this now up here. When we multiply 4 back through, we'd get 4x minus 8. And when we cancel those out, we'll get 1 plus 8, so we get 9. So 9 is our remainder. So since we had a remainder, that tells us that x minus 2 is not a factor of that numerator, because if it was, it would have divided evenly. This did not divide evenly, so therefore x minus 2 is not a factor of that. Now obviously if this was a quadratic, you could just factor it by other ways you know how to factor and figure that out. However, none of the techniques you've learned would let you factor this very easily, but this tells us if that's a factor. So no, it's not, and it had a remainder of 9. So how you write that remainder term is you would write plus 9 divided by what you were dividing by. So this whole term right here is the same thing as this. It's just you divided the x minus 2 to everything, and you were left with some remainder term that didn't divide evenly. So polynomial long division, again, pretty similar to how you do long division with real numbers. Just got to make sure that you put those placeholders there if you're missing some power of x. and make sure that you do your negatives and distribute your signs appropriately.